You know the feeling, don't you? You pour your heart and soul into creating your content. You're posting every day, you're doing all the things you're supposed to be doing, but the sales, they just aren't coming. It's so frustrating. Well, today, we're going to get right to the bottom of why that's happening, and more importantly, how you can fix it.
So let's just ask the big question right away. How is it even possible for your content to get loads of likes? Maybe it even goes viral, but it still doesn't move the needle on your revenue. It doesn't seem to make any sense, does it? But I promise you, there is a very clear reason this happens.
So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at that strange gap between content and sales and the trap of being generic. Then we'll talk about the danger of becoming a ghost brand before we get to the good bit, the solution, the power of positioning. I'll even give you a little blueprint to follow, and we'll finish up by checking what you've learned.
Okay, let's dive right in. Have you ever been scrolling through your feed and you get that weird feeling of déjà vu? You know, especially in a crowded market, it's like walking into a hall of mirrors. Everyone is using the same colors, the same phrases, even the same trending audio. And this is the real heart of the problem, isn't it? When everybody looks and sounds exactly the same, it's impossible for your brand to stand out. This is what I call the generic content trap, and it's where so many lovely, well-meaning businesses get completely stuck. Now, the problem isn't that you're not trying hard enough. Of course not. It's just that when you're swimming in a sea of sameness, trying to be a tiny bit better is a losing game. It really is. This quote from Marketing Week just says it all. We think if our product is just a touch higher quality, then of course people will choose us. But your customers aren't in some lab, carefully comparing everything. They're distracted, they're scrolling on their phones. If you don't look different, you just get scrolled right past. And look at this data from a Nielsen survey. It just perfectly illustrates this disconnect. A huge 70% of businesses believe they're unique, but only 21% can actually prove it in a way that customers understand. That massive gap? Well, that's where your sales just vanish into thin air. So what happens when you get lost in that gap? You risk becoming something I call a ghost brand. And yes, it sounds a little bit spooky because honestly, for a business, the reality of it is actually quite frightening. So what is a ghost brand exactly? Well, it's a business that's technically there, but for your customers, it's just invisible. They don't see it, and they certainly don't remember it. In their world, you might as well not even exist. And if you need a number to really let that sink in, think about this. Research from the Ehrenberg Bass Institute found that a brand that looks and sounds just like its competition has only a 30% chance of being remembered. That means 7 out of 10 potential customers will completely forget you even exist. And this brings us to the turning point. This legendary quote from Al Ries and Jack Trout just captures the entire solution, doesn't it? The real battle isn't on the shop shelf or in the social media feed. The real battle is for a tiny, tiny piece of real estate inside your customer's mind. So, if being generic makes you invisible, then having a clear, powerful point of difference, your positioning, is the secret to becoming unforgettable. It's about owning one single, unique idea in your customer's head. So when they have a problem, you are the first and maybe the only solution that comes to mind. Let me show you how this works. Here was a frozen food brand. Before, they were so generic, we sell food at a discount. Fine. But then they shifted. Their new position? The busy working mom's morning savior. Instantly, they're not selling food anymore, are they? They're selling time and peace of mind. Here's another beautiful example. A skincare brand went from this generic promise of brightens your skin to something incredibly specific. Halal skincare for young women in hijab. Now just think, for that audience, this brand just went from being one of many options to being the only option that truly understands them. And one more. A hijab brand shifted from the vague, stylish, affordable hijabs to a super clear mission, modern, modest hijabs for the active Muslim woman. Can you see? Any woman who goes to the gym or chases after her children immediately thinks, that's for me. That brand gets me. So how do you actually do this for yourself? Well, the good news is it's not some mysterious art form, not at all. It's a system. So let's just walk through a simple blueprint for finding your brand's unique direction. You can really break this down into 4 key steps.
First, uncover real insights. Don't just guess what your customers want, find out what they truly need. Second, use those insights to formulate your unique positioning. Third, define the emotional value you offer. Are you selling convenience or security or confidence? And fourth, and this is so crucial, test everything for consistency. Make sure every single piece of content reinforces that one core idea. All right, before we wrap up, let's just do a quick check-in to see if these key ideas have landed. Are you ready? First question, a brand that is invisible to customers, even though it exists. What is it known as? Okay, have you got it? And the second question, according to those marketing legends Al Ries and Jack Trout, where is the battle for positioning really fought? So how did you do? An invisible brand is, of course, a ghost brand, and the battle for positioning is fought in the customer's mind. And please remember that crucial statistic. Generic brands only have a 30% chance of being remembered at all. So here's the bottom line. Chasing trends might get you a moment of attention, but building a brand on a clear, consistent position, that is what builds a business that lasts. People remember you because of the pattern you create over and over again. And so I'll leave you with this one question to think about. When a customer thinks about your industry, what is the single most important thing you want them to remember about your brand? The answer to that, well, that is your very first step to turning all of your content into customers.